Hi, my name is Melissa McKim, and this is my final assignment for MIT812 Multimedia Applications. So the first question that we had to address was how I met my objectives. And I actually have not met them yet because I have not presented this to anyone due to it being the end of the school year. However, I've been meeting with my principal about every other Wednesday, and she would like for me to do some instructional coaching next year. So when I present this to her to see how it goes, I do believe she would be willing for me to try this and present this to the primary teachers. But if I were to follow my outline when I do present it, I do believe the teachers would surpass the objectives. So for my overall reflection of the whole process, I didn't follow my original idea. I just kind of broadened it a little bit. I honestly didn't think this final project would come to this. I just wanted to get my class set up first, see how that goes, then communicate what I learned to the individuals in my team. However, collaboration is necessary, and after reading Chapter 1 of Teaching Digital Natives, I realized this needed to happen across many grade levels as soon as possible. I saw a need and I tried to resolve it. It would have been easier for me just to use this for my class, but it just seemed more appropriate to reach a large amount of teachers. If I could do that to communicate the knowledge I gained so far in this program. I think it would have just been selfish for me to keep it to myself and would have been a disservice to the other students who will eventually be my students. To the right is the introductory video that I would be showing the teachers in the first session. Basically, all they're doing during that first session is gaining the knowledge of current pedagogy trends with technology integration and discussing and reflecting upon where they're at within their pedagogy. All right, so in the second session, I would basically walk them through how a student would basically be or do an in-class flip within that hour block. This meets several ISTE standards, but I do have to go to my St. Francis Google Classroom account to show you this. So when my students would go in and I would be teaching this and explaining this to those teachers in that session, all they would do was they would go into their Google Classroom, they'd click on whatever module they're in, and then they would go through the in-class flip video. So this would be the video with narration, which I don't have narration on this one. But we have a great program through MyMath, and basically that's what you're seeing here is a presentation. We can project it on the board, but I can also record myself, and they would go through each step, each question, and fill out a packet, and they would basically just be completing tasks within that module. And I would be, of course, explaining this to the teachers in more detail. So then next, another thing that they could do after they finished using that task sheet is using the app Seesaw, which we use in our classroom. They could show other ways to solve those problems and show their understanding. This is another way you could also incorporate those virtual manipulatives. Oh, I'm going to have to sign in again. Anyway, this is the virtual math manipulatives we did through Google Drawing. So I could throw that in there, and that could also be part of that module. Anything for that module could be placed within that section, and they would have to work through that. And of course, I would be explaining all of that to the teachers. So going back to my presentation, the ISTE standards that basically were met for this project were the ISTE standards for coaches 1A through D. So A through D, the visionary leadership. And then my takeaway for this project was for me to just step out of my little box, get out there and communicate my knowledge of pedagogy and multimedia to as many teachers as possible, just to have a positive effect on as many students as possible. So if I make a mistake along the way, another teacher will be there to tell me otherwise. We need more collaboration within teaching, not competition. So I chose this picture, this image of these little children here because that's our main focus. Thank you. This is my last assignment, and I hope everybody has a good summer.